Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting. I have a number of folks here. I'd like to introduce Mr. Let's see here. We have, Howard Mosley. Then we have Mr. Holfelder. We have John Marconi and Pam Andrian, and our chairman, Mr. Thomas Simpson. And with that, may I call the first matter, Mr. Chairman? Okay. 12-7-21, number 1, petition of John J. and Linda Wills for variances from zoning ordinance number 678, adopted December 13th, 2012. Number 1, section 600-52, applicant wishes to build a mixed-use residential commercial building which is not a permitted use by right in a C1 district. Location of this property is 4124B Chichester Avenue, Upper Chichester, Pennsylvania, and is zoned C1 neighborhood commercial. With that, Mr. Wills, would you like to tell the board what it is you want to do?
Yes, a few housekeeping matters, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
All righty.
Folks, with regard to the
Sure, thank you very much. Very much.
marked my exhibit package. Mr.
Naturally,
Chairman,
I would have expected so.
may I approach the board members?
You, Jay? How much?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Solicitor Rendamani. By way of introduction, my name is Jay Wills, and I'm an attorney licensed to practice law in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. My principal place of business is located at 4124 Chichester Avenue, Upper Chichester Township, where for the past 21 years, I have maintained a law and real estate brokerage practice. My professional office consists of a detached two-story building measuring approximately 1,200 square feet. The building was constructed in 1920 and is now 101 years young. The building is owned by me and my wife, Linda, who also serves as my paralegal and administrative assistant. Collectively, we are the quintessential small business or mom and pop operation that at one time had been dominant along the Chichester Avenue business corridor. Today, with the advent of the AutoZone parts store, the Wawa convenience store, and the existing International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Union Hall and Training Facility, small businesses have a reduced footprint along the Chichester Avenue business corridor. However, I still believe there is a vital role for small mom and pop businesses to play and thrive along our town's main business thoroughfare, including those that serve the professional needs of our community. When my wife and I purchased the property some 21 years ago, it consisted of approximately 1 acre of land with 300 feet of frontage along Chichester Avenue. On February the 8th of 2018, the township approved our subdivision application. whereby the existing 1 acre lot was subdivided into 2 lots, each consisting of approximately 1/2 acre. Parcel A consists of our existing professional building. Parcel B is a vacant, undeveloped lot with approximately 150 feet of frontage along Chichester Avenue. The vacant lot is zoned C1 Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District. We are proposing to construct a 2-story detached building with a gross floor space of approximately 2,788 square feet. The first floor would be utilized for professional office space for my business. The second floor is to be utilized for residential purposes for my wife and I. And if you turn, of course, to Exhibit A1, that is the first exhibit in your package, you will see a site plan that has been prepared by Catania Engineering Associates that indicates a proposed office/single-family home of approximately 34 feet by 41 feet with associated parking having approximately 8 parking spots and 1 handicap spot, again, fronting along the Chichester Avenue business corridor. Now, I've been advised by the township zoning officer here, Mr. Romali, that a mixed use is not a permitted use in the C1 Neighborhood Commercial District, and therefore a variance is required from Upper Chichester Township zoning ordinance, section 600-52. By way of background, my wife and I have resided in Upper Chichester Township for the past 31 years, primarily living in a detached single-family home of approximately 3,000 square feet on Trophy Drive in Upper Chichester Township, located immediately off Larkin Road. We have raised our 3 children here. All 3 children have been professionally educated and have now flown the coop and are now residing in different parts of the country, leaving my wife and I as the proverbial empty nesters. In other words, life is good. As we grow older and age gracefully, and as the COVID-19 pandemic has so vividly demonstrated, the idea of working from one's home is very appealing and intriguing to my wife and I, as we are prepared to make a significant investment in the community to bring that dream to fruition. Before we can proceed to land development, we must address the underlying zoning issue. As I indicated above, it is our position that a strict or literal application of the zoning ordinance, which does not permit a mixed use, i.e. both commercial and residential in the C1 Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District, would result in an unnecessary hardship to us. Now, under section 600-214 of the Upper Chichester Township zoning ordinance, entitled, quote, "Standards of Proof," unquote, an applicant has the burden of proof to establish, number 1, that the allowance of the variance will not be contrary to the public interest. 2, that the variance will not adversely affect the public health, safety, and welfare due to changes in traffic conditions, drainage, air quality, noise level, neighborhood property values, natural features, and neighborhood aesthetic characteristics. 3, should be in accordance, the variance, with the Upper Chichester Township Comprehensive Plan. 4, provide necessary parking in accordance with Article 18 of the Upper Chichester Township zoning ordinance. And 5, of course, will not adversely affect the logical, efficient, or economical extension or provision of public services and facilities such as public water, sewer, refuse collection, police, fire protection, and public services. In addressing the burden of proof requirements, I want to outline for the board character of the surrounding properties adjacent to my vacant lot and demonstrate that the proposed residential use on the second floor of the building is consistent with and complementary to the overwhelming residential character of the immediate surrounding neighborhood. I have distributed for the board's review a site plan of the immediate properties adjacent to my vacant parcel that I've marked as Exhibit A2. And I'd ask the board members to take a look at Exhibit A2. This is actually a Delaware County official tax map. And you see where I have marked and basically circled the parcel. That's the half-acre parcel that me and my wife own that is undeveloped, right? Approximately 150 feet of frontage on Chichester Avenue. Again, it is Zone C1. We could build a commercial building as a matter of right. But again, we're interested in having a residential home on the second floor. And of course, that mixed use is inconsistent with the current zoning ordinance. But I want to show you, if you look at, and again, these are tax parcel numbers. If you see to the immediate north, tax parcel number 297, right? That is a single family residential home. North of that, of course, is the Rolling Glen Apartments. Again, that is all residential, right? Immediately behind us are the Concord townhomes. Again, these are all residential developments. Tax parcel number 298 is, of course, my existing office building. And the tax parcels across the street, 057, 058, again, all residential, single-family detached residential homes. Again, the tax parcels we see all along Apple Street. Again, all residential homes. So again, the idea of having a second floor residential component is clearly consistent with and complementary to the neighborhood. Across the street, of course, is our St. John Fisher Catholic Church, which actually is a mixed use development. By that, I mean, again, there are two components of St. John Fisher. We have, of course, our Catholic Church, a place of worship there for our parishioners here in the community, but we also have a detached single-family home, which serves as the residence, right, for our current pastor, Reverend Robert McDermott. So again, across the street from me directly is a mixed-use development of both a house of worship as well as a residential component. And again, surrounding me is all residential homes. So we think simply having a residence on the second floor of our commercial building would clearly lend to the existing character of the neighborhood. All right. In light of the overwhelming residential character of the surrounding neighborhood, it is our position that a proposed residential use on the second floor of this building, number one, would not be contrary to the public interest. Number two, will not adversely affect the public health, safety, and welfare. as it relates to traffic conditions, noise levels, neighborhood values, and neighborhood aesthetic characteristics. Number three, the land development plan to be submitted to the township will provide adequate parking in accordance with Article 18 of our zoning code. And four, of course, having my wife and I reside in the property will in no way, shape, or form adversely affect the provision for public services and facilities. More importantly, what our local and national crime statistics clearly demonstrate is that buildings that are owner occupied or commercial buildings that are occupied during evening hours, weekends, holidays, and off-work hours are less subject to vandalism, theft, arson, burglary, loitering, and prowling, and other property crimes than buildings that remain dark and vacant during non-working hours. I would also like to highlight for the board's attention the existing mixed-use buildings and parcels that are prevalent along the Chichester Avenue in the C1 Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District to conclusively demonstrate that the issuance of a variance for my property to permit same will not be contrary to the public health, safety, or welfare, and will not adversely affect neighborhood property values, natural features, or neighborhood aesthetic values. I'd like to take you through, and we have some of the exhibits. We'll begin with Exhibit A3 to the board members. Again, this is 3913 Chichester Avenue, right? It's a block down from my building. It's marked Exhibit A3, right? That is the property that is owned by Jim and Kathy Squadrito. And they own there, it's the Chichester Kinder School, right? And that is a mixed-use lot or a mixed-use property whereby there are two buildings on the lot. Right in the front is the residential home of Jim and Kathy Squadrito. That's where they live. In the back, right, is the Chichester Kinder School. Again, that Chichester Kinder School has been around since 1986. So they've operated that school. And again, they have a residence on that lot for the past 35 years. It is located one block, again, from my proposed lot. Again, a mixed use lot on Chichester Avenue. The second property that I've marked as A4 in your exhibit package is located at 3901 Chichester Avenue. Again, this is Exhibit A4, and this is basically the Scanlon Mechanical HVAC business, right? That they operate on the first floor, and there are residential apartments on the second floor. Again, a mixed-use building. Again, simply one block, actually a block and a half down from my proposed building. Again, another mixed-use property. Again, the third property I'm going to show the board, I've marked A5. This is located at 3736 Chichester Avenue. It is actually owned by our zoning officer here, Charles and Kathy Romali. It is a mixed-use lot as well. There are two buildings on this lot. One building, of course, Mr. Romali uses for his business. And the second building, of course, used as a residential structure, something Charlie's rented out probably, I guess, for 30-some years that Charlie's owned the property, right? But again, another mixed-use lot at 3736 Chichester Avenue, again, used as both residential component and also a business component by Mr. Romali. The fourth property I'm going to show you, I've marked as A6. Again, it is referred as the Andrew Plaza Building. This building is located at 3101 Chichester Avenue. It is immediately across the street from the Wendy's restaurant, right? Again, this again is a mixed use property. The first floor are professional offices. Actually, one of the first floors is being utilized by one of our Delaware County Bar Association members, Mr. Timothy Pizzeni, attorney, has his offices on the first floor. There's another professional office immediate to the left of that, and up on the second floor, of course, 2 residential apartments. So again, we have, again, another mixed use property along the Chichester Avenue business corridor. Again, I've just included those 4 in the packet. I've also indicated the property across the street from me, St. John Fisher, again, is of course the mixed use property. There are many others along the Chichester Avenue business corridor. Again, this is just a small sampling of the mixed-use properties that are prevalent along the Chichester Avenue C1 business corridor. Our proposed building will enhance and supplement the historic mixed-use development pattern along the corridor. As I've indicated earlier in my presentation, under section 602.214 of the Upper Chichester Township zoning ordinance, an applicant for a variance has the burden of proof to establish that the relief requested will be in accordance with the Upper Chichester Township Comprehensive Plan. I trust this board is familiar with the Boothwyn Town Center Vision Plan, designed to establish a smart growth development strategy by attracting economic development opportunities, increasing existing business opportunities, and increasing the diversity of businesses and housing options in the town center and along the Chichester Avenue business corridor. And again, part of A7 here, I have, again, there's the existing Boothwyn Town Center Vision Plan, and I've just really attached the one page that has to do with the Chichester Avenue business corridor. But the Boothwyn Town Center report specifically calls into question the validity of the regulations in the C1 zoning district, which prohibits mixed-use properties. Regulations that ban mixed-use development that provides for a combination of both residential and commercial uses is wholly inconsistent with traditional town development standards. What I am proposing in my zoning application is precisely the type of mixed-use development that is being advocated by the Boothwyn Town Center Plan. Boothwyn Town Center Task Force is made up of community residents, local organizations, business owners, elected officials, and Upper Chichester Township staff. Accordingly, the mixed-use building I am proposing to construct is in conformity with the Upper Chichester Township Comprehensive Plan as amended and supplemented by the Boothwyn Town Center Vision Plan adopted in April of 2021. That's just 8 months ago. For all of the above reasons, I am respectfully requesting that this board grant the necessary zoning relief and issue a variance from section 600-52 to permit construction of a mixed-use building having both a residential component on the second floor and professional offices on the first floor in the C1 zoning district for property situate at 4124B Chichester Avenue in Upper Chichester Township. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would ask and move for the admission of exhibits A1 through A7 into evidence. I'd also ask that we move into evidence all the certified mail postages to all my surrounding neighbors, advising them of what I am proposing here this evening. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would be happy and pleased to entertain any questions the board members may have.
We'll allow those in as A1 through A7. What do we want to call the time? Usually that's A1.
Application.
Or that also makes.
This would be the application would be the name. We're going to call this applicants exhibit 1. Is that right?
Yes.
Excellent. That's what you did, but I think you're doing it to the wrong group of people. I think you have to go to the commissioners. We have to follow the variances or the ordinances. We can't make our own ordinances. Commissioners can. We can add that in very easily, the mixed use. According to what's in this book. Not allowed to have that. Minor occupation and then see what R2 and R1, major occupation. And the C1, it does not have. And you know, I've been on this board for 25 years, and all these exhibits, A1 through A7, before my time. I don't know if they were grandfathered in, how exactly they got in. They're in there. I don't know how they got there. You're proposing a brand new building. You have no idea what it's gonna look like. You don't know if it's gonna look like that, the building next door to your present office. You don't know what's going to, but the bottom line is the commissioners are the one that do the variances. Or not the variances, the ordinances saying. Wow. Just trying to. Well, I want to go to everybody here first.
I have 3 questions. Mr. Rinaldi, do you know when the ordinance forbidding the multi-use was put into the code? By any chance?
A prior zoning ordinance did permit for mixed uses. I believe it was in 72 or 73 when the new ordinance came in.
Okay, and what is your current building use that you're living in now?
It is all professional offices. C1. Consistent with the code.
Okay, so that was, all right, so that's just a one-use building. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hang on, do you know why it was taken out of this book?
Mr. Mel, may I ask you a question, please? Are the other properties that are presently mixed use, are they non-conforming uses? So they were all in existence before the ordinance changed, is that correct? So they're not in violation of the ordinance
No.
because they have to be tolerated as.
What we refer to as a pre-existing non-conforming use.
So let me ask either John or Charlie. So the fact that, let's take Andrew Plaza as an example. I know that the law office is fairly new in the past year, I think. So at what point, I think it was a barber shop that was in there prior. So at what point do we say this property the property was established as a multi-use prior to it becoming C1 and the code being changed? At what point does the township say the prior business was grandfathered, but the next business coming in is non-conforming?
The
So,
question is, do you focus on mixed use portion of it or to the specific use?
well, do you focus on,
Does it always have to
do
be
you
a barber
focus
shop?
on the fact that that was there prior to 72? And we caught as a mixed use, so we're just going to leave it that way? Or at some point, does the township have to say, yeah, the barber shop was there from 1971 until 2019, and that business was kind of grandfathered in, but any businesses that come after have to kind of follow. There has to be a point where that grandfather clause has to kind of conform with present day codes.
Law prefers non-conforming uses and allows them even to expand. Those things that were in to be zoned out. They're entitled to a special preference. Always has to be for the rest of the barber shop.
And all these properties that Mr. So how about in the sale of a property? So,
Doesn't
Mr.
change
Wills,
it.
the property of the kinder care. So at what point did the owner purchase this property and create a mixed use as far as the residence and the kinder care? Was that after 1972 or was it before that?
Yes, I know there are clients of mine, the Squadritos. That property was
Yeah.
purchased in 1986, I believe. So for the past 35 years, property's been utilized for mixed use purposes, a preschool and a residential
So
component.
from at 86, when he purchased that property,
So that's when it was built or when it was purchased.
Charlie, was that,
Well,
were there two
that's-
properties on that? Property? They built another building.
I'm not sure when that was built. There's,
so at some point, this came after.
Not necessarily. No one knows that here this evening.
One building with two uses. And I know that they are talking and bantering about making mixed uses. I don't think it's that far. I have to look at the thing and I don't have it with me.
No, when you said it's two properties, do you mean they're subdivided properties? One is commercial, one is residential, or it's all on the same lot?
This one, he's putting two uses in one building, but the other
Right.
building that he brought up is two separate buildings
Separate
on one
buildings.
property,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
it's still
totally
mixed
different.
use. Still mixed use.
Yes, I don't want to debate this all night. Honest me a little bit, I've lived in this township for 55 years. I think we're going in the right direction with mixed use, and I agree with his presentation here, and if I had my vote tonight, I would allow his application. Absolutely. If you want to start debating what date this building back here with the kindergarten, or what date was here or what date was there, I think we're doing this wrong. If this has got to do with the commissioners making the final choices on his application, then fine. But either we all vote tonight, yes, or we turn this over to the commissioners and let's get this through. I have a wife at home that had stroke. I can't be making things that I feel are really not that important to his application. Thank you.
Thir- 31, sorry. Yeah, over 25. Yes, yes, sir.
Anyone in the audience for or against this applicant? They online? I'll take a quick 5-minute recess. We'll be right back.
Asking the same thing?
Or over there, the Wilson Department.
What do you have to tell him? See what Mr. Willis has said? He said,
I'm working with the guy right now. He wants to do. It does.
Mr. Wills, kind enough to consider signing a document which would waive the right to a written decision in 24 hours?
I am quite familiar with that document, sir.
And if you do, then the board will vote on your application this evening.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you. Fill it out as best I can here. Let the record reflect that Mr. Wills has kindly signed a waiver of the right to receive a written decision within 24 hours on this application. And with that, I would ask the board, would the board like to vote on this application this evening?
Yes.
Maybe you would like to poll the board? Close it. Close it.
Yes.
Nine.
If we have a 3-2 decision.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Such a good job, Mr. Wills. All right, with that, may I call the next application? Okay, this is 12-7-2, the petition of Anthony Dambro for variances from zoning ordinance number 678 adopted December 13th, 2012. Number one, section 600-52, applicant wishes to convert top floor back to apartment. A mixed-use residential commercial building is not a permitted use by right in the C1 district. The location of this property is 2805 Chichester Avenue, Upper Chichester, PA, and is zone C1. Zambro here this evening?
Yes.
I'm Mr. Zambro. How are you? Would you be
How you
kind
doing?
enough to swear in the witness, I guess?
Steve Danbro. It's me, DAMBRO.
And you swear that the testimony you're about to give.
Yep.
Mr. Dambro, would you be kind enough to tell the board what it is you'd like to do?
Okay, well, about 6 years ago, I bought the building. It was in disarray. It needed a lot of work. There was a florist on the bottom floor and an apartment up top. When I bought it, I just figured I would get the restaurant up and running, and then I would see about the apartment. I didn't realize that I would need a variance at that point. But we got the restaurant up and running. I ended up having some health problems, so I ended up renting it out for a while. And now I wanted to go ahead and see about doing the apartment, that just putting back what was there, really. So nothing's going to be changed on the outside of the building. Nothing on the inside, really, just some new drywall. That's about it. I just wanted to put it back the way it was, that's all.
Your own personal use,
No,
this will be.
I'm not going to say down the road that one of my kids might not move in there, but I do have 2 grown children, but it's about all I'm looking to do.
The only question I have is the restaurant going to reopen at some point?
Yes,
Okay, now my question is, you need parking for an apartment and a restaurant.
okay. There's 12 spots there. And actually, the church across the street had some park over there also.
Oh, I know they do, because I used to patronize the restaurant. That was all I had.
No questions.
It was.
Mr. O'Malley. Like, since you're still here, do you know when that addition was put on to the, or the apartment was put on, or was it?
Property was actually a dedicated post office. It became forest. It was in a. Mrs. Inman, when she had her. There for a bedroom downstairs. Yes.
Lived there and had a store.
She lived there in a storefront there.
What year was that?
I bought it like 6
It
years
was in
ago.
the 60s.
Abandonment.
It was empty. It needed a lot of work when I bought it. I rebuilt the whole outside of the building when I bought it. I redid the whole bottom floor. The only thing I didn't do was the inside of the apartment. No, I actually bought it from Mel Carrick's, the florist. It was a florist for a while.
Florence was there, but
I can't answer that. I don't know.
No, there was no mixed use.
prior to the
Or when it was supposed to.
I mean, when I bought it, it was listed as a store and an apartment. You know, just figured it needed rehab.
Can I say something?
Sure.
This is part of the area that the task force is going to target for mixed use. And if he doesn't get approved tonight, he can come back when they approve it and it will be approved because it will be mixed use.
Indeed, it would be. It would be as of right, and he wouldn't even have to come here.
Anyone in the audience for or against? Anybody online? Thank you. We're going to take a quick 5-minute recess.
Okay, thank you.
At least you could actually do it with the word processing. Mr. Dambro, would you
Yes.
be kind enough to consider signing a waiver of the right to receive a written decision in 24 hours? If the board votes on your application, otherwise I have to wait till next month.
Want me to come up there?
Nope, I'll come down.
Let's see, has a pen. I'm prepared tonight. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Right, Mr. Chairman, let the record reflect that Mr. Dambro was kind enough to sign the waiver of the right to receive a written decision, so if the board wishes on the application. Okay, and we shall poll the board. Mr. Mosley? Holzhauer?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Approved.
Thank you. Approved.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
What exactly do I do now?
Well, you have to wait.
First, you jump up and down. You're so happy because you've just got a unicorn. So after that, wait for the decision.
Okay,
Get the decision, it'll be all signed up. You can go to Mr. O'Malley and he'll issue your permit.
very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Meeting, Tom?
Please vote.
Hey, Merry Christmas to
Have a good night.
everybody.
Yeah.